Hello and welcome back to the student series. This is episode 17 and today I'm going to be chamfering the plinth. Now that's what I will be doing, but first I've got to balance out the base of a box. The plinth isn't exactly level, so I'll be doing that. And then something I also forgot to do was actually mark the plinth with a marking gauge. So I've got to figure out how to do that. But anyways, I best get to it. Could you explain to me what's going on here? So you get on my level, the stupid beginner level, like, that side goes crazy. Yeah. Yeah? But when I look at it, it's not, like, it doesn't look like there's that much to then make this end go.
Yeah, I'd say there is.
Yeah?
Yeah. So which corners are you taking it off?
Well, I guess it would be these corners now.
Yeah. Take it off then, and then once you've done that, so we're talking these two now.
Yeah.
Take it off then.
Yeah.
And then once those are dropped, you need to try and get basically a long shaving going from that corner to that corner and that one to that. Well, actually, to be honest, around the entire thing. Yeah. To ensure that you haven't just dipped it off and therefore created a bump, because that's what it's rocking on at the moment.
So should I focus on the corners now? Yeah. And then do, okay.
Yeah, corners now, because they definitely need to drop either way. And then make sure to finish it up going along the...
Yeah, and they'll both need to drop then? Or should it be a case of try one, then test it? Then?
Yeah, technically if you do one of them then it's half an adjustment, isn't it? So yeah, you could figure out which one's worse.
Okay.
But yeah, I would do both, to be honest.
So that's the base of the box flattened, all but. That took far too long. That was about 45-50 minutes maybe of just trying to get this sorted. It was pretty bad to start with, so it's improved. It's just stressful. This was a freezing cold workshop when I got in this morning, but now I am boiled, purely because of the stress. Right, I should probably mark those plinth lines now, and then actually get to what this episode is all about. I need some of your expertise, so get away from doing whatever you're doing over there and stop and help. So, I like breakout.
Do you?
I've decided it's a design feature. It's all been going swimmingly.
Yeah.
Until it hasn't been.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, every time I've gone against the grain, weirdly, it's broke out. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. Like, against the grain normally is absolutely fine.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think so.
And on top of that, like you should always have a mentality of if there's an issue being caused, keep doing that same thing until the issue goes away.
Precisely.
and it's not going well. I got this sort of stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit beefy.
That is a meaty one in there, isn't it?
Yeah, And then there's also, I mean, there's a bit in the middle there.
Oh yeah.
There's basically.
Don't use Paduke.
Yeah, I think there is a bit of that going on. There is a bit of that, but I realise that there's potential that I've actually pushed that beyond saving, other than just going all the way down again.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like I completely understand that I overdid that. But okay, how would you avoid getting that tear out that I've got, given that the last time I got rid of tear out was using either that big plane with a really sharp angle,
With the high angle, yeah.
or a cabinet scraper, both of which don't fit there.
Cabinet scraper could get in there for one to start with. You could use the corner, but there's no guarantee of getting it flat, because the cabinet scraper might just start scooping out the middle. However, this is still mounted bevel up, similar to the jack plane that you used before, which you sharpened to a steeper angle. So in theory you could sharpen that to a 50 degree and you would have exactly the same cutting angle. I think it's the same bed angle on it of 12 degrees, but you'd have exactly the same cutting angle, give or take, as the low angle jack plane. Ideally I'd have two blades, one for 30, one for 50, but I don't.
Okay. Alright, so that's how it should have been done in order to try and avoid tear out.
Yeah.
I can imagine it's also not.
No guarantees.
No guarantees.
No.
So with what I've done here, to mitigate any more damage, don't think I've ever used that word before.
No, that's good, that.
Yeah, thank you.
I like that.
What should I do? You suggested a cabinet scraper.
I reckon cabinet scraper, because it's in like a small area, there's no point doing the whole thing. I just think scrape it down, get the corner of the scraper in there.
Yeah.
Done. You won't be able to do the whole lot, but scraper mixed with sandpaper should help get rid of it. But yeah, give that thing a go, I reckon.
Alright. Could you show me how? I understand how to use a cabinet scraper, but especially on these corner bits. Like actually getting in there.
So looking at this, it actually looks like the grain is going that way.
Okay.
So you tried to plane it from this direction, didn't you?
No. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what caused the tear up. Okay. So, I mean, realistically, a cabinet scraper shouldn't really care, but it is.
It's improving.
Yeah, so let's go this way. I think you can just go across like that.
Yeah.
There's little bits coming off.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it was a miracle that I didn't scratch the side of a box when I was going freehand on that angle.
Well, the thing about this, I haven't put a burr on the side of this either, so you shouldn't end up scratching the side of the box. Just have it flat against it.
Yeah.
Like that, so the camera can see. Flat against it, angle it forward a little bit so the burr engages, and then woof. That'd be funny if it's like,
yeah, either that or there's a big line going across here.
But yeah, I reckon that.
Okay.
To be honest, you don't want too heavy of a burr on it, just in case it does promote a bit more tear out. So let's just keep it as a, you know, it's either square or there's a little burr on here, albeit a little bit blunt, but that'll be right for this case. That'll be okay. Right, Rob has completed the plinth, mitered and everything.
Yes.
And how did you find it?
A challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge to say the least. Yeah. It's truly a test of patience. Alongside what I hope is a need for experience. Doing those sort of angles and keeping your hand positioned in one angle for the entire length of
Locking
the stroke.
everything in and then, yeah, letting your body carry it through.
I didn't do it once.
Cool.
I was wobbly all over the place, and subsequently I no longer have a 45-degree angle on my plinth. What I did, and I didn't really show this to camera, I just sort of hid it, was I looked at the front of the box and I noticed one side had a really narrow plinth, which was the 45 degrees to be fair, and the other side was quite chunky. And I thought, quite neat. And I thought, no, Matt's immediately going to say, why have you done this? Why haven't you fixed this? So I did. I fixed it by making everything a chunky plinth.
It's about 60 degrees, I reckon.
honestly, there were parts I was thinking, have I gone too far? Because it was stuck. I thought I was going to almost go vertical.
Hit the bottom corner.
Yeah, it's really difficult fixing a plinth angle after you've done the majority of it. After you've got one edge to align, fixing the rest of the angle is a nightmare. You end up with this rounded, curved, beveled edge.
Yep.
And then you've got to remove the middle stuff from that without hitting the... I learnt a lot. Put it that way. I learnt a lot. It was a learning experience and only some slight regret.
And the other thing you obviously faced was tear out as well.
Yes,
Our
my
good
old friend.
tear out. Yes.
Yeah. Cabinet scraper did a good job, pretty much for all of that. Like, it's... I can't spot anything that looks horrific in regards to tear out now. Like, there's some rougher patches, that's for sure. But from a looking at, it's not bad.
From a mile away.
From a feely feel, it's a bit rough.
Yeah. So bear in mind, if you're getting tear out with this, if you're using a shoulder planes are mounted with the bevel up in the body. The bevel up on the blade, much the same as a low angle jack plane. That means that what you can do with the blade...
Sorry, can you just describe to me what bevel up means? I keep saying...
Bevel up. On the other ones, bevel down.
Oh, what, on the number 4 is it bevel down?
Yeah, it's the wrong way around. I'll just put it on your lid here. You do that, you take it out, there's the chip breaker bevel, and there is
the bevel
down. So on a bevel up, means that you can... Bevel up means that you can sharpen that to a steeper angle. 50 degrees is usually quite a good bet, and with the 12-degree bed you've then got a 62-degree cutting angle, which makes it more like a scraper plane as opposed to a plane. So because the shoulder plane is much the same as the low angle jack, you can get away with it.
I don't know if I've asked this before, but why wouldn't you have it at that angle continuously if it's going to always remove tear out?
Because you don't always get tear out, and it just makes it easier to push if it's at 30 degrees.
Okay.
30 degrees is like a good... Like, if you have a lower cutting angle, you get a cleaner finish. As long as you're working with material that likes to be worked.
Yeah. Is that like those you see the Japanese planing videos where they just pull something all the way along and just get paper thin? Is that because it's just really, really shallow?
Yeah, I don't know what they actually sharpen those to, but yeah, like 30 degrees. The other thing is with shoulder planes is quite often you're using them on end grain as well. Right. And if you try and do that with a 50-degree blade, it's going to be like trying to shove a shovel through
here we go.
a brick.
Okay.
But it's just not going to work.
Okay.
So, yeah, that 30 degrees is pretty much a good all-rounder for everything, but if you're getting tear out, sharpen it to 50 degrees on a bevel up blade, may I add. If you sharpen it to 50 degrees on a bevel down, it's still travelling up a 45-degree slope.
Right. Is that damaging to the chisel?
To the blade? Well, if you sharpen it 50 degrees?
Yeah.
No, just pointless. You might
just a waste of time.
You might get a longer lasting edge, to be fair, because it's kind of got more material supporting the cutting action, but...
Yeah, chunkier.
Yeah, the other thing is to put a back bevel on the blade, but yeah, that's all something that's covered in my video, how to remove tear out, if it's something you're interested in. There'll be a link in the description.
Have I watched that video?
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, overall, I mean, you got it done, and there's nothing that sandpaper can't fix.
No, just...
Well, we'll test that, shall we?
Yes, I feel like it will be tested a little bit. Yeah, I think it's looking better than I expected it to, I'll be honest.
The other thing was flattening off the bottom, which you did at the start.
Oh, nightmare.
Yeah, flattening off the bottom, it's much the same as flattening off the lid. Identify the high areas and remove them, obviously. But bear in mind with this, if you remove material from these corners, it's going to create some sort of bump or something along the long edges. So if you remove material from there and there, you kind of want to flatten off these areas afterwards, and even the short sides as well, just to ensure that it's still sitting flat and you haven't got a seesaw box.
Yeah.
I think that might have been something. And like, if you're working with a material that behaves better than the Padauk Rob's using here, you can lower those corners and then aim to take a shaving around the entire thing in one pass.
I did do that.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
That's
what this tear out is, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Well, I just thought, I don't care about tear out on the bottom.
Yeah.
But I did go all the way around. I went around once and I put it down and it was flatter than it was before. I was like, brilliant. So I thought, let's do it again. It was not flatter afterwards. And I was like, right, I'm done. I'm not doing any. I don't know. Something went wonky.
Okay. Do it once then, in that case. Don't do it twice because apparently it makes it worse. There we go. That was a long old outro, wasn't it?
It really was.
We should certainly move on.
We should.
So, thank you for watching this video. You can now move on to the next one by clicking the link below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel by clicking the link to the left-hand side of the video. We'll see you in the next one.
See you then.
I actually forgot which side it was then.
Oh really? I
That's what I
thought it was just a long pause.